The night sky above Vora Prime burned with a red glow. Lightning cracked across the metal clouds as crowds gathered in the largest auction dome of the outer colonies. The air was thick with smoke, whispers, and fear. Every seat was filled. Creatures from 100 worlds waiting to see what would be sold tonight. At the center of the hall stood a tall glass cage. Inside it sat a girl, no older than 20 in human years, with silver skin that shimmered like water under light. Her eyes glowed faint blue, and when she blinked, a faint electric hum filled the air. She was chained from neck to ankle, but even bound, her presence made every living being step back. The announcer, a tall alien with golden armor, slammed his metal staff on the floor. Lot number 909, his voice echoed through the hall, the wild one from the planet Serath. Last of her kind, dangerous, unstable, do not approach. A wave of silence followed. Everyone knew her story. Everyone had heard the rumors. They said this alien girl was cursed, that her touch brought death, that she had killed her entire family in one night when her powers awoke. No one wanted her. No one dared to even look too long. The auctioneer waited. Opening bid, 1,000 credits, he called. No hands rose. 500? Still nothing. Even the bravest bounty hunters turned away. The girl lifted her head slowly. Her eyes scanned the crowd, calm but empty, like deep water hiding something unseen. When she exhaled, the lights in the hall flickered. A few aliens hissed in fear. One creature ran out screaming, "She looks at you and she sees your death." The auctioneer frowned, sweating under his armor. Come on, people. She's a living weapon. She could be, trained, controlled. But no one moved. Not a single hand lifted, until one voice spoke, soft but clear. I'll take her. The words came from the back of the room. Every head turned. A man stepped forward, human, wearing an old Navy uniform. His hair was dark and short, his face calm but serious. He looked out of place in this alien chaos. His name was Commander Leon Carter, an ex-soldier who had lost more battles than he'd won but still stood tall. The auctioneer blinked. Human, you're bidding? Leon nodded. Yes, I'll buy her. The crowd began to whisper again, loud, fearful, mocking. He's insane. He doesn't know what she is. She'll kill him in his sleep. But Leon's eyes never left the girl. In that moment, something strange happened. Her gaze met his. For the first time, her expression changed. The faintest flicker of surprise passed across her face, like she recognized him somehow. The auctioneer coughed nervously. Sir, she's not safe. The last owner died after 3 days. Do you understand what you're doing? I do, Leon said quietly. He took out his credit chip and placed it on the table. Finalize it. The staff hesitated, then took the chip. The hall fell into total silence. When the cage opened, a cold wind seemed to flow through the building. The girl did not move, not until Leon stepped closer. The guards looked away. They didn't want to see what would happen next. Leon reached out his hand. Come on, he said softly. You're free now. For a moment, she stared at his hand like it was a weapon. Her chains shimmered with electric light, reacting to her heartbeat. Everyone waited for her to attack, for him to fall dead. But she didn't. Slowly, almost uncertainly, she placed her hand in his. The lights flickered. A wave of static energy moved through the air. Somewhere in the crowd, glass cracked. Leon didn't flinch. He held her hand until the energy calmed. The auctioneer whispered, May the stars protect you, human. Leon looked at her once more. What's your name? He asked quietly. She tilted her head. Her voice, when it came, was soft and distant. They called me Wild One. I'll call you something else, he said. You're not a thing. As they walked toward the exit, people moved aside as if parting for death itself. The alien guards avoided eye contact. The air felt heavier with every step. Outside, the wind roared against the steel city. Leon led her to his small ship, the Starhawk. Its engines hummed low, waiting to leave this cursed place behind. The girl paused at the ramp, turning to look at the city one last time. Her eyes glowed brighter for a moment, as if she saw something far away, something dangerous moving in the shadows of the universe. She whispered something in a language no one knew. The words sounded like a warning. Leon frowned. What did you say? She looked at him. They will come for me. And now, for you. Before he could answer, the ground shook. Somewhere far behind them, An explosion lit the sky in green fire. Leon didn't wait. He grabbed her hand again and pulled her into the ship. The ramp closed. The Starhawk lifted into the stormy clouds, leaving the city, the auction, and the terrified crowd behind. But as they rose through the atmosphere, a red light blinked on the radar, unidentified ships following them. Leon looked at the glowing dot. He didn't know it yet, but his one decision had already changed everything. The Wild One sat beside him in silence. Her eyes were fixed on the stars. The Starhawk drifted through the black sea of stars. Inside, everything was quiet, too quiet. Only the soft hum of the engines broke the silence. Commander Leon Carter sat in the cockpit, hands on the controls, eyes fixed on the radar. The red dot that had followed them from Vora Prime was gone. For now. He turned to look behind him. The alien girl sat in the corner of the ship's small cabin. Her silver skin glowed softly in the dim light, and her eyes were half closed, watching the stars outside the window. She hadn't spoken since they left the planet. She hadn't even moved much, only breathing, slow, careful, like she was afraid to exist. Leon sighed. "You can sit closer, you know. I don't bite." She blinked once but said nothing. He opened a small locker and pulled out a gray blanket. "Here, it's cold." When he placed it near her, the lights flickered for a second. Small sparks danced along the walls. Leon froze. "Was that you?" She looked up, her voice soft as air. "It happens when I'm scared." He nodded slowly and stepped back. "Then let's keep things calm." The crew's fear hours later. The Starhawk docked at Station 9, a human-controlled outpost on the edge of the Vega Belt. The small crew waited near the airlock, a mechanic named Rhea, an old pilot Merrick, and a security drone hovering silently above. When Leon walked in with the alien girl, the entire room fell silent. Rhea frowned. "Commander?" "What is that?" "She's not a thing," Leon said calmly. "She's with me." Marek took a step back. "That's the Wild One. The cursed girl from Serath." "You brought her here?" "She's under my protection," Leon said. "Protection?" Rhea hissed. "She killed her own people. You want her on our ship?" The girl looked down, saying nothing. Leon's jaw tightened. "Enough. We don't believe rumors here." But inside, even Leon wasn't sure. The strange energy she carried, it felt alive, like a storm hiding under her skin. Night on the ship that night, Leon sat in his quarters, staring at a small hologram photo. His family. A wife and daughter long gone, lost in the war between humans and the Serath race. The same race the girl came from. He heard a sound, soft footsteps. He turned. The alien girl stood at the door. "I can't sleep," she whispered. Leon nodded. "You can stay here, sit." She sat across from him. The air shimmered slightly around her. He studied her carefully. "You have a name?" She hesitated. "I had one." Before they took it away, he leaned back. "Then you can choose a new one." She tilted her head. "Why?" "Because you're free now," Leon said. "Everyone deserves a name." Her eyes glowed faintly. "Freedom," she repeated, as if testing the word. "Strange word for someone in chains." Leon frowned. "Not anymore." The girl looked at him for a long moment, then said quietly, "You're not afraid of me?" "Should I be?" he asked. She smiled sadly. "Everyone else is." The ship creaked as it passed through a pocket of gravity. The lights dimmed again. Then, for a second, Leon saw something. Her shadow on the wall was not hers. It was taller, wider, with wings. He blinked and it was gone. The warning: the next morning, the mechanic Rhea ran into Leon's cabin, pale and shaking. "Commander, come see this." He followed her to the engine room. The walls were covered in strange marks, thin glowing lines like alien writing. They pulsed faint blue, the same color as the girl's eyes. Leon turned to Rhea. "Did she do this?" "She hasn't left her room," Rhea whispered. "But the energy levels are dropping fast. Something is draining the ship." Before Leon could reply, the intercom crackled. Marek's voice came through, panicked. "Commander, you need to see this. There's a message on the comms. It's not human." They rushed to the control deck. The hologram screen showed a flickering image, an alien face, half mechanical, half alive. "Return the girl," it said in a deep, metallic voice. "She belongs to the Serath Corps. The human who took her will die within 3 rotations." Then the signal cut. The crew looked at Leon. "What now?" Rhea whispered. Leon stared at the silent stars outside. Now, we find out why they want her back. Strange dreams that night, Leon couldn't sleep. His mind replayed the message again and again. When he finally closed his eyes, he dreamed of a planet burning under a dark sky, of people screaming, and of the alien girl standing in the middle of the fire, glowing brighter than the sun. He saw her look at him in the dream. "You freed me," she said, "but freedom has a cost." He woke up sweating. The cabin was cold, too cold. He looked around and froze. She was standing right beside his bed. Her eyes glowed brighter now. "You saw it," she whispered. "My planet. My curse." Leon's heart pounded. "What are you talking about?" She looked out the window, voice trembling. "They call me cursed because I destroyed my home. But it was not me. It was them. The Sarath Corps. They used my power to end my people. I was their weapon." Leon stared at her, shocked. "So you're running from them?" She nodded. "They want me back. To finish what they started." The ship trembled suddenly. Alarms went off. Merrick shouted from the intercom. "3 ships on approach. They found us." Leon jumped to his feet. "Battle stations." He looked at the girl. She stood calm, her hands glowing faintly. "You can't fight them," she said softly. "But I can." Before he could stop her, she stepped into the hallway. Blue light spread across the walls and the ship's power surged. Leon watched in awe and fear as the lights grew so bright that shadows vanished. For the first time, he saw her true power. And for the first time, he wondered if he had just brought a god or a nightmare onto his ship. The Starhawk flew through dark space, engines screaming under stress. The alien ships behind them fired bright red beams that tore through the void like burning arrows. Inside, alarms echoed. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Smoke filled the narrow halls. Commander Leon Carter gripped the controls hard. "Rhea, divert power to the shields." "I can't!" she shouted back. "We're losing energy faster than we can replace it." Then everything stopped. The lights went out. The sound vanished. The Starhawk hung dead in space. Leon froze. "No, not now." Before he could react, a soft blue light began to rise behind him. He turned slowly. The alien girl stood in the middle of the control room. Her eyes glowed bright as stars. Her hands lifted and energy flowed out of her palms like liquid light. The screens came alive again. Power surged through the engines. The ship trembled, but it was moving again, faster than before. Rhea whispered, "She's powering the ship." By herself. Leon stared, speechless. Outside the window, the alien warships fired again. But the energy beams curved away, missing the Starhawk completely, as if invisible hands had bent the laws of physics. The girl's voice was soft, distant, echoing with something inhuman. "They can't touch us. Not yet." Then she collapsed. The girl who was energy, Leon, caught her before she hit the floor. Her body was light, almost weightless. He could feel warmth pulsing under her skin, like touching the heart of a star. "Easy," he whispered. "You're safe now." Her eyes opened weakly. "I didn't mean to do that." "You saved us," he said. "Whatever that was, it worked." She looked away. "That power, it's not mine. It's something they put inside me. A weapon that thinks it's alive." Leon didn't understand, but he knew fear when he saw it. She wasn't proud of what she'd done. She was terrified by it. He placed her gently on the medbed. "Rest. We'll talk later." As he walked out, the ship's lights flickered again, like it was breathing with her heartbeat. Strange discoveries later, Rhea and Merrick joined Leon in the control deck. "She's not human," Rhea said quietly. "Not even close. But that energy, it's not natural either. It's synthetic, engineered." Leon frowned. "Engineered? By who?" Merrick pointed at the radar. "Maybe by them." He zoomed in on the alien ships. They were gone now, but a strange signal remained, pulsing faintly. A symbol appeared on the screen, a circle split by a single line, glowing white. Leon's eyes narrowed. "That's the Sarath Corps symbol. Military-grade science division." "So she was their experiment," Rhea said. "Half alive, half machine." Leon said nothing. He looked down the corridor toward the medbay door. Behind it, the girl slept in silence. Dreams and memories inside the medbay, the girl dreamed. She stood on a broken world, a desert of glass and ash. Towers lay shattered, burning under a black sky. The wind carried voices whispering her name. Not her old one, not the one they gave her. Her true name. She saw soldiers in metal suits dragging her across the ground. Needles in her arms. Machines pulling energy from her veins. A voice echoing in her head. You are ours. You will destroy for us. She woke with a scream. Her eyes glowed bright blue for a moment, then dimmed again. Sweat ran down her face. She looked around. Leon was there, sitting beside her. You were dreaming, he said quietly. She took a deep breath. I saw them again. Your people? She shook her head. No, the ones who made me forget them. Leon leaned forward. Tell me everything. She hesitated, but then spoke in a soft, trembling voice. They called me Era once. Before they turned me into this. Before they erased my world. They used my energy to burn everything, to test their weapon. Leon's face hardened. Humans? She looked at him, sadness in her eyes. No, worse, the Sarath Corps, my own creators. Ghost signal. Suddenly the ship's alarm blared again. Ria's voice echoed through the comms. Commander, you need to see this. They rushed to the control deck. The radar showed a blinking signal, a small object following them. It's a probe, Marek said. Same frequency as the core. Leon frowned. How close? Too close. It's been tracking us for hours. Before they could react, the probe transmitted a message. A cold robotic voice filled the ship. Subject E09 detected. Tracking lock confirmed. Prepare for retrieval, then static. Leon cursed. They found us again. Era appeared behind them, silent as a shadow. They won't stop, she said softly. They think I belong to them, but I don't. Leon turned. Then we fight! Era's eyes glowed brighter. You can't fight what's already inside me. What do you mean? She stepped closer. They built a key inside my body. When they activate it, I will stop being me. Leon's chest tightened. Then we find that key and remove it. You can't, she said. It's not metal. It's in my blood. The secret of the Starhawk that night, while Era rested, Leon went to the ship's engine room. The ship hummed strangely now, alive, almost aware. He ran diagnostics, and then he saw it. A hidden energy source deep in the engine core. The same blue energy that glowed in Era's eyes. He stared at the screen. That's impossible. Ria appeared beside him. It's not. The ship's energy signature matches hers. She's bonded with the Starhawk. Leon looked up, realizing the truth. She's not just on the ship. He paused, voice low. She is the ship. The whisper late that night. Leon sat in the cockpit staring at the stars. The quiet hum of the engines now sounded like a heartbeat, his heartbeat. Then he heard a whisper through the intercom. Leon. He turned. It was Era's voice, but she wasn't there. I'm in the ship, she said softly. I can feel everything. The stars, the metal, you. Leon's breath caught. Era, what are you doing? I'm protecting us, she whispered. But I'm also changing. I don't know if I can stop it. The lights flickered, and for a moment he saw her reflection in the glass, half human, half energy. Leon whispered. We'll find a way. Her voice was faint now. If I lose control, promise me one thing. What? Don't let me hurt you. He didn't answer. Outside, the stars stretched into streaks of light as the Starhawk jumped into hyperspace, carrying a human, a cursed alien, and a secret that could destroy galaxies. The Starhawk drifted through silent space, no stars, no planets, just endless blackness. Inside the cockpit, Commander Leon Carter stared at the control screens. They flickered with strange blue symbols, Era's symbols. She was inside the ship now, and the ship was changing. The metal walls pulsed faintly, breathing like skin. The lights dimmed and brightened with her heartbeat. Leon spoke softly. Era, can you hear me? A faint voice answered through the intercom. Yes, I can see you. Her tone was calm, but something felt different. Colder, deeper, almost echoing like two voices in one. The living ship Ria walked in with a data pad. Commander, this isn't normal. The ship's system is fusing with her mind. If she keeps connecting, the Starhawk will stop being a ship. Leon frowned. And become what? Ria hesitated. Something alive. Leon turned to the glowing walls. Era, you need to rest. You're pushing too far. Her voice filled the cabin again. I can't stop. They're still tracking us. I feel them like claws in my head, she gasped suddenly, clutching her chest somewhere deep inside the ship. The lights flickered violently. A low hum echoed through every corridor. Merrick's voice shouted through the comms. Commander! The ship's energy's going wild. She's overloading. Leon grabbed the control stick. Hold her together. The Starhawk shook violently as a wave of blue fire spread through its core. Leon saw images flash across the screens. Era's memories. Cities burning. Children crying. Machines tearing her world apart. Then silence. The awakening. When the light faded, Leon found himself floating in a white space. There was no ship, no walls, just light everywhere. Then he saw her, Era. But she looked different, taller, glowing, her eyes brighter than stars. Her hair floated like silver fire. Leon blinked. Where are we? She looked around softly. Inside me. Inside what they built. He frowned. You brought me here? She nodded slowly. You needed to see. The white world shifted and suddenly they stood on the ruins of her homeworld. A massive city burned under a red sky. Tall towers melted into the ground. The air screamed with the sound of machines. Leon whispered, This was your planet? Yes, she said, voice trembling. They made me believe I destroyed it. But it was a lie. What do you mean? They used my power to test their weapon. The weapon inside me. I begged them to stop. But I was only a child. She raised her hand and the scene changed again. Now Leon saw humans, soldiers in black armor, standing beside the Serath scientists. Together they activated a giant crystal engine. Blue light burst out, swallowing everything. Leon's heart sank. Humans helped them. Yes, she said quietly. They gave the Serath core the energy tech. Together they built me. And when the experiment went wrong, they blamed me. The curse inside the light dimmed. Era looked at her hands. They called it the Starseed Protocol. A living energy designed to destroy anything. They made me its heart. Leon stepped closer. And that's what's inside you now? She nodded slowly. It's sleeping. But if I lose control again, it will wake. Leon looked straight into her glowing eyes. Then I'll make sure that never happens. She smiled faintly. You can't fight a curse, Leon. He stepped forward. I'm not fighting a curse. I'm fighting for you. Her expression softened. And for a moment the glow in her body dimmed. Peaceful. Then, the sound of thunder ripped through the white space. The world around them began to crack. They've found us, she shouted. They're waking the Starseed remotely. To the enemy. Within, back in the real world, the Starhawk shook violently. The screens flashed red. The Serath core had activated a signal that was reaching deep inside Era's DNA. Rhea screamed, Commander! The energy readings are off the charts. She's turning into... The rest was drowned out by a roar of light. Leon ran toward the med bay. The doors blew open. Inside, Era floated above the bed, eyes white, hair glowing like lightning. Blue flames wrapped around her body, forming strange patterns in the air. Era! Fight it! Leon shouted. Her voice came out deeper now, layered with mechanical echoes. I can't. They're inside me. He stepped closer despite the burning heat. Then let me in. Let me help. She looked at him through tears of light. You'll die, he grabbed her hand anyway. Better to die with you than watch them win. The moment their hands touched, everything exploded in light. The connection. Leon screamed as a surge of energy ran through his body. He saw everything, her memories, her pain, her loneliness. And then something else, a connection forming between them deeper than thought. Their energies merged. For a heartbeat, their minds became one. Leon felt her fear. She felt his hope. And for the first time, the energy obeyed her instead of the core. The flames around her faded, and she fell into his arms, weak but alive. He held her tightly. You did it. Her voice was barely a whisper. No, we did. The aftermath. Hours later, the Starhawk drifted silently once more. The system stabilized. The glow in the walls faded to a gentle light. Era rested in the med bay asleep. Her breathing was calm now. Rhea entered quietly. Commander, whatever you did, it saved us. But her readings, she's changing. Her DNA isn't the same anymore. Leon looked at the sleeping girl. She's not the same person. None of us are. He stood by her side, watching her hand twitch slightly, glowing faintly. She's fighting the curse, he whispered. And next time she won't be alone. Final scene outside the ship, deep in the darkness. Hundreds of red lights appeared, enemy ships gathering again, hunting their lost weapon. But on the Starhawk, something new was rising. A bond between a human and an alien, between a soldier and a curse, a power neither side could control. The Starhawk glided through the mist of a dying star system. Its engines whispered quietly, like the ship itself was afraid to speak. Commander Leon Carter stood at the viewport, staring at the blue planet below. Era stood beside him. Her silver skin shimmered faintly in the reflected light. Her expression was calm. Too calm. That's it, she whispered. My home, Sarath. Leon narrowed his eyes. The world below looked alive again. Green forests, oceans, and shining towers. Not the ruins he saw in her memories. I thought your world was destroyed, he said softly. It was, she answered. But they rebuilt it, her voice trembled. And now humans live there. The return home, the Starhawk entered the atmosphere. Cities glowed like jewels under the clouds. But there was something wrong. Too perfect. Too clean. Every building carried the symbol of the Sarath Core, the circle with a single line through it. Era watched the ground through the glass. This isn't my world, she murmured. It's a copy. A cage built on the bones of my people. Leon clenched his fists. We'll find out who's behind this. As the ship landed on a platform, soldiers in black armor surrounded them. But these weren't Sarath soldiers. They were human. The insignia on their shoulders read, United Human Command. Rhea whispered, Commander. Those are Earth troops. The meeting. The soldiers led them to a tall white tower in the center of the city. Inside, cold lights lined the walls. At the top stood a man Leon recognized immediately, Admiral Corin Hale, Leon's old commander. The man who had once led the human expansion fleet. Corin smiled as they entered. Leon Carter. Still alive, I see. Leon stared at him. You built this place? Corin nodded. Rebuilt, actually. The Sarath gave us their technology. We gave them order. A perfect world, no chaos, no war. Era stepped forward, anger flashing in her glowing eyes. You call this order? You stole my planet. Corin looked at her with mild amusement. The experiment speaks. You were meant to serve a greater purpose, not hide inside a broken soldier's ship. Leon moved closer, fists tightening. You used her as a weapon. You killed millions. Corin's smile faded. We did what was necessary to protect humanity. Do you think peace comes without sacrifice? Era's voice shook. You burned my people alive. Corin turned cold. They were in the way. Leon took a step forward. You're not saving humanity, Admiral. You're becoming what we once fought. The truth revealed. Era's glow began to rise. Her voice trembled with power. You lied to everyone. You told the galaxies I destroyed my world. But it was you. Corin didn't flinch. History is written by those who survive. You, my dear, were simply the perfect villain. The floor vibrated. The lights flickered blue. Era's power leaked into the air. The guards raised their weapons, but Leon shouted, Don't! Corin smirked. See? Even now she's unstable. Leon turned to Era. Don't let him win. You're not what they say you are. Her eyes filled with tears of light. They used me, Leon. Every life I've ever touched. They took from me. Leon placed a hand on her shoulder. Then take it back. She looked up at him and nodded. The uprising begins. The tower shook as energy burst from Era's body. The walls cracked. Windows shattered outward, raining glass across the city. The soldiers opened fire, but the bullets turned to dust before reaching her. She raised her hand, and a wave of blue light swept through the room. Every system died. The power grids across the city went black. Leon grabbed Rhea and pulled her behind cover. We need to move. Era's voice echoed through the air, deeper and louder. You built this world on the ashes of mine. You called it peace. I call it theft, Corin shouted through the chaos. You can't stop progress. Era turned her glowing eyes toward him. No, but I can end your illusion of it. She raised her hand, and the sky above the city cracked open. The sky falls from orbit, satellites burst like fireworks. Artificial moons exploded into dust. The planet's shield network collapsed. Every system on Sarath Prime went dark. Leon watched in awe and horror. The entire city was falling apart. Energy grids melting, buildings collapsing. He ran toward her through the storm.
Era, stop!
You'll destroy everything. Her voice was faint but filled with sorrow. They destroyed me first. He reached her, pulling her into his arms. You're more than revenge. She looked up at him, tears mixing with light. You're the only human who ever saw me as alive. The storm slowed. Her glow softened. Corin stood nearby, trembling, gun shaking in his hand. She's not human. She'll kill us all. Leon stepped in front of her. Then she'll have to go through me. Corin's hand shook, but he lowered the gun. You're both fools, Leon glared. Maybe, but at least we're free. The escape. They fled the tower as the city crumbled behind them. Rhea and Marek guided the Starhawk to the landing pad, engines roaring. Era turned back one last time. Her homeworld, once reborn as a fake paradise, was falling apart again. But this time it was by her choice. Leon looked at her. You okay? She nodded slowly. No, but I'm finally awake. They boarded the ship and rose into the sky. Below them, Sarath burned in blue fire, a planet of betrayal finally breaking free. As the Starhawk entered orbit, Era placed a hand on the window. I see now, she whispered. The real enemy wasn't my curse. It was the ones who taught me to hate it. Leon looked at her, his voice quiet. Then let's finish this, together. She smiled faintly. Together. In deep space, a massive human battleship appeared on their radar, the Dominion, flagship of Admiral Corin Hale. Its guns locked on the Starhawk. Era's eyes glowed once more. He's not done with us, Leon smirked. Neither are we. The engines flared bright. The ship vanished into hyperspace, two souls against an empire. The stars burned red behind them. The Starhawk flew through debris fields and ghost stations, the broken remains of old wars. Commander Leon Carter sat in the pilot seat, eyes hard, face lit by the glow of distant fire. Beside him, Era stood silent, watching the universe with glowing eyes that held too much memory. They were fugitives now, hunted by both humans and the Sarath Corps, but together, they were something more dangerous than either side could imagine. They were free. The message of hope Rhea worked at the back of the ship, sending encrypted signals across the old communication bands. Leon turned to her. Any luck? She nodded slowly. We've sent the message. If anyone's still out there, any rebels, refugees, or soldiers tired of lies, they'll hear us. Leon leaned back. Good, we can't fight alone. Ira stepped forward, her voice calm but strong. You won't be alone. My people left traces, survivors scattered in the void. If they hear my call, they'll come. Leon met her eyes. Then let's wake the galaxy, she nodded. Her hands began to glow faintly blue. She placed them on the console. The ship's lights pulsed with her heartbeat. Her voice carried through every frequency, soft, haunting, beautiful. This is Ira of Sarath. The weapon they built has broken her chains. I am not your enemy. I am the proof that freedom still burns. The signal went out, across stations, across colonies, across forgotten worlds, and for the first time in years, people began to listen. The gathering storm days passed. One by one, signals returned. Ships appeared from the void, small, broken, desperate, but full of hope. Old mining freighters, alien skiffs, human patrols that had turned against the command. They all came to the call of the Starhawk. Marek stared at the screens. By the stars, they're actually coming. Leon smiled faintly. Then we're not ghosts anymore. Era looked at the ships gathering like sparks in the dark. A rebellion born from truth, Rhea added softly. A rebellion led by two. Leon turned to Era. You sure you're ready for this? She nodded, eyes glowing brighter. I've been ready since the day they called me a curse. The first battle, the Dominion, Admiral Corin Hale's flagship, appeared on the edge of the system. Its shadow covered the stars. Leon clenched his fists. He found us. Corin's voice filled the comms, cold and sharp. Leon Carter, you disappoint me again. You could have been a hero of humanity. Instead, you side with our enemies. Leon replied. Maybe I'm done fighting for lies. Era stepped forward, her tone fierce. You used my power to kill. Now I use it to free, Corin laughed. You think your rebellion can stop an empire? Leon's voice hardened. No, but it can begin the end. He looked at Era. Let's show him what two people can do. The power of two, the Dominion fired first. Blue plasma beams tore through space. The Starhawk dodged between them, lightning fast. Dozens of smaller rebel ships followed, hitting back with everything they had. Inside, Era closed her eyes. The walls of the Starhawk began to glow. She was no longer just in the ship. She was the ship. Her voice echoed through every comm system. To all ships, stay behind us. I will open the way. The Starhawk rose like a comet, blue fire blazing around it. Energy surged from Era's body, forming a massive shield that protected the fleet. Corrin's gunners fired again, but their blasts shattered against the glowing barrier. Leon grinned. That's my girl. Era's voice trembled with power. Don't call me that, Commander. Not now, he smirked. Then let's end this, Captain. The turning point. They dived straight into the Dominion's weapon grid. The ship shuddered as explosions rocked its hull. Target their reactors. Leon shouted. Hit the power core. Rebel ships swarmed behind them, firing in unison. The Dominion's armor began to crack. Inside the command tower, Admiral Corrin watched his fleet burn. He slammed his fist on the console. Enough! Activate the control key! Deep inside the Starhawk, alarms blared. Era gasped, clutching her chest. They're trying to take control of me again. Leon grabbed her shoulders. Fight it, Era. You're stronger than their code. Her voice shook. If I resist too long, I could destroy everything. Leon looked straight into her glowing eyes. Then destroy them, not yourself, she screamed. Light burst from her body, brighter than a sun. The control signal shattered. The Starhawk exploded forward, breaking through the Dominion's armor. The fall of the Dominion, the enemy flagship, burned. Flames and debris spun through space as its reactors went critical. Corrin's voice echoed through the comms, half static, half madness. You think you've won, Carter? You've only doomed us all. Leon answered quietly. Maybe. But at least we chose our fate. The Dominion exploded in a burst of red and blue light, a dying sun swallowed by its own sins. The aftermath, silence. The battle was over. Thousands of rebel ships floated among the wreckage, engines flickering weakly. The Starhawk drifted at the center. Its hull cracked, its lights fading. Era sat on the floor, breathing hard, her glow dim. Leon knelt beside her. Hey, you did it, she smiled weakly. We did it. Rhea's voice came through the static. Commander, the signal's spreading. Across the colonies, across human space, people are rising. Leon looked out at the stars. Then the rebellion has begun. Era rested her head against his shoulder. It wasn't power that saved us, Leon, it was trust. He smiled softly. And a little chaos. She laughed. The first true laugh since he'd met her. Outside, the stars burned bright again. Across the galaxy, screens lit up with Era's voice, her message replayed endlessly. Freedom is not given. It is taken. I was built as a weapon, but I chose to be human. In that moment, two legends were born. The human who defied his empire, and the alien girl who became its heart. Together, they started a fire that would change the universe forever. Silence filled the galaxy. The Great War was over. The Dominion had fallen. The Sarath core was gone, but victory came with a price. The Starhawk drifted through space, cracked, scarred, and quiet. Inside, Commander Leon Carter sat beside Era, who lay weak on the floor of the med bay. Her glow was fading, little by little, like a star losing its light. The dying light. Leon brushed a strand of silver hair from her face. You need rest, he whispered. Era smiled faintly. You sound like a doctor. I sound like someone who cares, he replied. Her eyes shimmered, reflecting the soft light of the cabin. Leon, the power inside me is dying. When it fades, I'll fade too. He shook his head. No, there has to be another way. She touched his hand, her skin warm and fragile. You already gave me one, freedom. Leon's chest tightened. That's not enough. Era looked at him, calm and steady. Then promise me something. Anything. When I'm gone, don't let them turn the stars into cages again. Leon's throat tightened. You're not going anywhere. But they both knew she was already fading. The call from the void suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped. A weak signal appeared on the radar, not human, not Sarath. Something new. Rhea ran in, eyes wide. Commander, there's a transmission. It's not in any known language. But it sounds like her. Leon frowned. Her who? Era sat up slowly. The core wasn't the only one that used me. There were others, watchers from beyond. They're calling now. The voice came through the speakers, soft and echoing like music from a dream. It spoke in patterns, not words, yet Leon could feel its meaning. The seed awakens. The light must return. Era looked toward the stars. They want me to come home. Leon stood. You don't belong to anyone anymore. She smiled sadly. Maybe not, but this might save what's left of me. The journey beyond, they followed the signal across the dark edge of the galaxy. Past dying suns and silent moons, at last, they reached a field of floating crystal fragments. Shining, alive, humming with energy. The starseed field, Era whispered. This is where I was born. Leon looked around in awe. It's beautiful. Every piece here is part of the old energy network, she said softly. If I join with it, my body will end. But my light will live on, Leon's voice cracked. You mean you'll become one of them? I'll become something new. Maybe not human, not Serath, but alive in another way. He stepped closer. There must be another option. Era shook her head gently. Leon, I don't fear death. I fear being forgotten. He held her face in his hands. Then I'll never forget you. She smiled. That small, quiet smile that had melted every wall around his heart. The farewell. They stood together at the airlock. The universe stretched before them, endless, silent, waiting. Era placed her glowing hand over the glass. When I first met you, I thought humans were monsters. Leon smirked softly. Some are, but you raised your hand when everyone looked away. You saw life where others saw danger. Leon whispered, and I'll raise it again every time. She leaned forward, touching her forehead against his. A soft blue light passed between them. Her final gift, what is that? He asked quietly. A memory, she said. So you'll never be alone even when I'm gone. The airlock opened. She stepped into the light. Her body dissolved into silver dust, rising like 1,000 tiny stars. The fragments joined the glowing field outside, merging into a radiant wave that stretched across space. Leon watched with tears in his eyes as her voice echoed one last time. He raised his hand once, and the universe never forgot it. The rebirth hours passed. The Starhawk floated in silence. Then, the ship's core flickered. Blue energy filled the cabin again. Rhea gasped. Commander, look! The walls glowed faintly, forming patterns, symbols they'd seen in Era's light. Leon smiled through the tears. She's still here. Her voice whispered through the ship. The seed lives, not to destroy, but to protect. And as the engines roared to life, the Starhawk shone brighter than ever before. Era's essence was part of it now, part of everything. A new beginning. Months later, Leon landed the Starhawk on a free world, a small planet rebuilt by the rebellion. Children played under alien skies, humans and Serath side by side. Rhea stood beside him, smiling. You kept your promise. Leon looked up at the stars. She helped me keep it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small shard of crystal, glowing softly, a piece of Era's light. She's still watching, he said quietly. Still guiding, Rhea nodded. You think we'll ever see her again? Leon smiled faintly. She is the stars now. That night, Leon stood alone on a cliff watching the horizon. Above him, the constellations shimmered brighter than usual, like they were alive. A soft wind brushed against his face. For a moment he heard her voice again, gentle and familiar. I kept my promise, Leon. I became what they could never control. Hope. He closed his eyes and whispered, Then my promise stands, to never stop fighting for it. The camera rises toward the glowing sky. The stars form a faint outline. A woman's face, smiling, and as the light spreads across the screen, her final words echo softly. Wherever there are chains, we'll break them. Wherever there is silence, we'll bring light. Fade out. End title glows. The promise beyond stars. End of saga.